Questions and comments. The Honourable Member for Châteauguay-Lacolle. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to thank my colleague from the opposition for his very interesting remarks. And I'm very pleased to hear a general acknowledgement from the Conservative Party that climate change is a real issue, an important issue, and that we have to find a way to tackle this issue. Now, the debate lies really in the best approach to take. I agree that there are various approaches. I'm far from being an expert in this area, but in Quebec, yes, there was a carbon market established, not only in Quebec, but also in British Columbia and elsewhere, for example, in the state of California. And what that shows is that there is an approach, a market-based approach, that is more in line with the conservative ideology, and that's all well and good. But there is another approach, and that is to put a price on pollution. Regardless, we have to find a way to deal with this. People want us to find a solution. So I would ask my colleague to tell me what he thinks the best solution would be to combat climate change. The Honourable Member for Beauport-Limoilou. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, and I'd like to thank my colleague for Châteauguay-Lacolle. We have sat together on a committee. And I would say, yes, in fact, the carbon market is a market-based approach. However, in Quebec, it didn't give the expected results. And when you look at the Eco-Trust under Mr. Harper, that idea was to provide provinces with funds so that they themselves could develop their own plan to respond to climate change. And what we saw was a true decrease, 2.2%, a real decrease in greenhouse gas emissions. And you see a carbon tax of $50 a ton, currently $20 a ton, but it will go up to $50 by 2022. So with the carbon tax, one can only expect that it will go up over time. And what's unfortunate is that the large emitters, the big cement and coal industries, will not be affected by that tax because they'll only be paying 8% of the total revenue on that, whereas small businesses will have to pay 92% of that increase. Now, I'll continue to say that that approach wouldn't necessarily be applied in Quebec because they already have that approach. However, what have we seen? We've seen gas prices increase throughout the country, including in Quebec and British Columbia, where there are cap and trade systems.